Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are. So today we're going to be filling out form I-765 together, which is the application for employment authorization. The current expiration date for this form is July 31st, 2022. Keep in mind that if you're submitting this form together with your adjustment of status application, there is no fee for this form, and also submitting this application is completely optional. You totally don't have to if you're not planning to work while waiting for your green card. So let's get started. Again, you will be starting here. Please type or use a black ink pen. Any areas that you are not able to fill out in this format right here while typing, you can always fill them out in the black ink pen later after you print this document. Okay, so part one, reason for applying. So here you will select whether or not you are applying for initial permission to accept employment, replacement, or renewal. So a couple of notes here is you will be selecting initial permission to accept employment for any kind of employment authorization under a new visa category. So for example, if you had an employment authorization on your OPT, for example, and now you are applying for employment authorization through your adjustment of status application, you will still be selecting initial permission to accept employment. And if you, for example, have been waiting for your green card for a while and you have applied for this before and your employment authorization did expire and your green card is still not here, you will obviously be submitting this option 1C because you will be renewing your permission and you will have to attach a copy of your previous employment authorization document. Option 1B is for replacement of lost or stolen or damaged employment authorization document. You will have to pay the full filing fee. However, if your employment authorization document came in and there was an error there, that was not your mistake, that was USCIS mistake, you do not have to submit a new form 765 and you also do not have to pay a filing fee. You will just have to read the instructions of this form to see what you have to do for that later. However, if you are applying as part of your adjustment of status application, most likely you'll be selecting option 1A. Moving on, information about you. This is asking about your name and if you have ever used any other names. So Jane is married now to a US citizen, but she actually never changed her name before, so she doesn't have any additional names. So we can just put not applicable to all of these areas. Moving on to part 2, information about you. Right here, you will provide your US mailing address. And it asks, is your current mailing address the same as your physical address? You can say yes. And obviously, if you typed no, you will have to provide another physical address where you're actually currently living if it's different. So other information, it's asking for your alien number and USCIS account number. So Jane is applying for this for the first time, and she actually does have an alien number from an OPT that she used to have, and there isn't necessarily a rule. So basically, once you apply for an employment authorization, you will most likely receive a new alien number because you're applying under a new visa category, like adjustment of status, for example. So it is very likely that you will receive a completely different alien number. However, if you already have an alien number from your OPT, for example, you can provide it anyway. And Jane does not have a USCIS account number. Okay. Gender, marital status, married. Have you previously filed form I-765? So here you can answer yes if you have ever filed, if you have ever filled out this form before. So you can say yes because she used to have an employment authorization for her OPT a while ago. So moving on, this question 13A and B are asking if you have a social security card issued ever to you, and Jane has when she was here as a F1 student before, and she will input her social security number here. And moving on, if you have never had a social security card issued to you, you have an option to receive a social security card. And actually, if you don't have a social security number and you want a social security card, it is a good idea to select yes over here, because this will kind of speed up the process a little bit for you. In order to be able to accept employment in the United States, most employers will most likely ask you to provide a social security number, and if you don't have one, you're going to have to apply for it. And once you have your employment authorization document, you can go ahead and apply for a social security number. However, it might take a long time. So applying for a social security number here in this application will speed up the process a little bit, and you will not be wasting precious time. So because Jane already has a social security number, she doesn't need one, so she'll select no, and we'll skip to next question. However, if you do choose to apply for a social security card, you will have to select yes here as a consent to disclosure of your information to the Social Security Administration. Because we selected no, we can skip to item number 18A, but if you do apply for a Social Security card through this application, you'll have to provide this information here. And this is not applicable to us, so we'll just have to say not applicable. Okay, moving on. Your country of citizenship or nationality, place of birth, moving on, information about your last arrival in the United States. So form I-94 will have a arrival departure record number, and you can find your form I-94 if you follow the link in the description box of this video, or you can just Google I-94, and the first link that appears on the screen, you will just have to put in your name, date of birth, and your passport number, and it will give you a summary of your I-94. Your passport number is asking for your most recently issued passport. If you have updated your passport, obviously provide the most recent one. Travel document number, not applicable. Country that issued your passport or travel document. Expiration date. Date of your last arrival to the United States. Place of your last arrival. So this would be the port of entry, and it was New York. Immigration status at your last arrival, so she was an F1 student. Your current immigration status or category, again, she is currently still a F1 student. And if you were an F1 student, you are familiar with what SEVIS number is, and that will be listed on your I-20 form. So you will put in your SEVIS number in here. Okay, eligibility category. So this can seem very complicated. However, in the instructions of this form, you will be able to see what your eligibility category is. There's a lot of different eligibility categories. However, anyone who is adjusting their status will have eligibility category C9, with some exceptions that if you are adjusting your status from an asylee or a refugee, your eligibility category may be different, so you should check out the form instructions. Okay, STEM OPT eligibility category, you would need to provide the information here, and because we're applying as now adjustment of status applicant, we obviously this does not apply to us anymore, even if we had an OPT before. But we're not applying for an OPT employment authorization, okay? Even if we had one before, now we're in a completely different category. So right here, you'll just put not applicable. Moving on, again, this does not apply to us, so we're just going to say not applicable. Next, these are all these different other eligibility categories. We'll just put not applicable in all of these areas. And finally, part 3 is the statement contact information. So Jane can read and understand English. I've read and understood every question. If you've used an interpreter or a preparer, you will obviously select this. Phone number here, any other phone numbers, email address. And right here, you'll select if you're a Salvadoran, Guatemalan national eligible for these benefits. It doesn't apply to us. And right here, you'll sign in black ink pen when you print it out and put in your date. Again, if you used an interpreter, you'll put in their information here. This does not apply to us, so we will just put not applicable. And additional information page may be used for any kind of additional information, but because we didn't have to provide any, we're just going to leave this blank. So this is it. This is the end of the I-765 application. Check out my all about I-765 and I-131 videos where I talk in more detail about any additional information that you might want to know for these forms. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I hope to see you in my next videos.